Malaysia, mentored with over 65 industry SMEs, over 300 women, 340 plus AI solutions were built, largely from Malaysia, on AI, and all of this actually has also opened up jobs, more than 144 jobs, more than 200 apprenticeships and internships. None of this would have happened without the partnership of 31 open source communities and 43 organizations. Today on our panel, we have two very esteemed persons. First, let me welcome Datin Habsa Norin, Head AI Center of Excellence, Petronas. Petronas was one of the first partners of Code Without Barriers, and as such has helped us push the envelope on what we do here. Welcome, Datin. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Annie.
Next up, join me in welcoming Ahmed Sadi Yaman. He is the Group Axiata Head of AI and Analytics. It's such a pleasure to have you on the panel with us, Sadi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Wow. This is truly a magnificent panel that we have here. Let me start first with Datin. You're a role model for many women in this audience. And together we were talking just before the event, we don't have enough women in the audience. We're seeing about 10, 15%, not enough. So tell us a little bit about your journey as a woman in tech, especially in AI.
Okay, thank you, Annie. Actually, before I came to this room, we're just counting how many women are in the line for registration. Roughly about less than 10%, I think. Evidently, the Code Without Barriers is definitely the right platform to incubate more women in this space. Now, going back to your questions. First and foremost, my involvement in AI only came a little bit later because I spent the early 5 years in data. In the data space itself, while going through quite a few systemic issues in the organization, one of the key things that we wanted to solve is how do we manage on unstructured data. So one of the projects that we embarked actually in 2023, how do we make sure that the ability for the organization to find information from various platforms in an unstructured format easily. And we created a project. And with that project, there was a solution that we built. We call it J.AI. J.AI is pretty much a co-pilot for Petronas. Mm-hmm. It allows for the search and as well as the users in the engineering and HSC practitioners to be able to bring the right data and knowledge sharings across. When we did this, we see the opportunity to bring generative AI to a bigger scale. And at the time that we were doing our project, GPT 3.5 Turbo was just made available actually. And in the time that we were doing our project, we were also busy upskilling ourselves. So that was the challenge that we faced. We noted about the challenge, but we were also excited about the outcome and also the promises, how generative AI and AI as a whole be able to transcend and make impact to the organization. One of the things that we also take notice is in the space of AI, while we are a practitioner, we disrupt others, but we also get disrupted. So as a constant, what I see as a tech person in this space, change is constant, learning is constant, and I think that's one of the culture that we need to have in terms of bringing the learning agility within a tech space.
Thank you, Datin. Change is constant. And so we have to move with the changes. Sadi, quick question to you. So, massive change going on right now, and just the pace of change is beyond something we imagined. Why is gender representation so important in this context?
Thank you, Annie. I think it's a very important question. Now, as we all know that AI models, the fundamental is how well the model is trained with how well the data is diverse. Now, if the team which is actually building that system itself is not diverse enough, by design, the team will miss the diversity aspect of the training data. And it will actually perpetuate and amplify all the biases. Let me give 2 quick examples. One of the global company, they actually built an AI-powered recruitment tool. However, the tool was disfavoring the female candidates. And you know why? Because the tool was trained predominantly with the male CVs of last 10 years. So that tool was not giving the unbiased output because of that diversity lacking in that data set. And then, of course, the project was scrapped. Take the example of financial inclusion, because this is one of the major problems we are trying to solve with the power of AI. Now, one of the banks which created this model powered by AI, but the model was disfavoring female borrowers. And the reason was the model was trained, again, predominantly with male data, and that is the reason the model was lacking the exposure to diverse financial conditions. For example, working women who have taken a break due to childcare or maternity leave or something similar reason. So the model by design, because the team was lacking diversity, the model by design was disfavoring the female borrowers. Another aspect is it is very important to ensure the inclusivity in the design process. Take the example in the healthcare. AI models are designed to understand the symptoms and understand the disease and recognize the disease. But if the model is trained only with a particular set of data, for example, male data, it will miss this diagnosis for the female patients. And last but not least, I'd like to give one very important example on the trust and transparency, which is the facial recognition system all over the world. We have seen examples that it is finding challenge to identify the faces, mainly of the people of color, because the system was getting trained with more lighter skinned people. So these are the examples that clearly shows that the more and more we want to apply AI in all those important problems, it is very important to ensure that data is diverse, and only a diverse team can help to ensure that. And last but not least, imagine a world where the AI model can understand everyone's voice. Imagine a world where the AI system can address everyone's health need and treats everyone fairly. That future can only be created when our AI teams will be diverse enough.
Thank you. That's brilliant. So what I hear you say is that from an organization perspective, if you want to succeed in business, you need to have diverse teams. That's essentially underlining the need for D&I in the era of AI. So Datin, it's very clear that organizations need that D&I to succeed in business. But how about the country? How do you see D&I as a huge contributor for Malaysia's economic growth?
Okay. So I'm not going to the examples. I think enough examples have been given. I just want to make a reference. There is a playbook. I don't know whether you're aware. But in Malaysia, there is a roadmap of Malaysia Artificial Intelligence Roadmap from 2021 to 2025. Anyone of you aware about this? Okay, good. Thank you. And one of the things that struck my attention, it's one of the things about our Malaysia GDP baseline growth year on year is expected to be at 4.4%. And the centricity on AI will further improve Malaysia GDP by another 1.2%. That's equivalent to 30% additional GDP, which means that another source of economy as an income to Malaysia, if Malaysians are passionate and bringing AI to the level of transformation, building new businesses, building new solutions, changing the way we work, changing efficiency across organizations, across institutions. However, one of the things that we also observe, and this is at a global scale where the systemic issue right now, the lack of adoption on AI is because we don't have enough talents and skill. We don't have enough AI experts. And I did my study last night, almost at 2 a.m. actually, just to tell you I'm a bit sleepy. So one of the things that was mentioned in one of the Harvard Business Review is diversity and inclusion must be part of AI strategy. And it talks about 3 main components. The first thing, the embedment of diversity and inclusion into the design of the AI system so that the system will be fair and transparent. Secondly, the incorporations. How do we incorporate D&I into the upskilling and training programs so that we have more outreach to those more ladies in this particular space, for example? And thirdly, how do we use AI as an opportunity to boost D&I? So in essence, embedding D&I must be a deliberate strategy in all companies, in all institutions. It's not a choice anymore. It's something we must do. And I hope that this reaches out to all the decision makers, people who are of influence in this particular hall, to make that as an effort. And that will be mindful for us that whatever that we chart today as part of our strategy, it actually evolves into the right outcomes for the future. And what's more important, I'm seeing that with the space of AI, the technology and data, there's a lot more women in Malaysia need to take part. And I'm happy to know that many of you here are already in the beginning of that journey.
True. We have to be very intentional when we talk about inclusion in AI. When we started Code Without Barriers in September 2021, we had 12% developer diversity per the /data report. Today, we sit at 31% developer diversity, which is a massive, massive milestone for this journey. So we have about 5 minutes, so we are going to go faster here. How diverse are your teams in Axiata, and what challenges?
Thanks, Annie. Just to give a global perspective, because Datin was also talking about it, as per World Economic Forum report and LinkedIn workforce report globally available, we have seen that the percentage of female in the analytics and AI team, to be more specific, is roughly around 20 to 25%. Now, when we put one more additional filter of AI, the percentage comes down to 15 to 20%. Now, this is the global average that we are talking about. Talking about Axiata, right now we have more than 30% female participation, and it's increasing. But most importantly, apart from increasing that participation in the percentage term, what is really important that we are trying to do is within the entire AI ecosystem, there are multiple roles. Not all roles will impact the model accuracy same. So we have been identifying the roles and we are trying to disproportionately ensure this gender diversity within that role. So that we create more non-biased systems. And there are, of course, few challenges. It is a culmination of less pipeline. Then government and educational institution needs to ensure more and more female taking the STEM subjects.
Yeah.
There is a biasness in the recruitment process itself. Yeah. And then there is a lack of supporting sponsorship and mentorship also. We have seen some of our female colleagues starting quite brilliantly, but then because of lack of mentorship, they could not excel. So So taking all those challenges, we have tried to develop a program that will not only provide support from the company itself, but also will include the family support also. So this together can really help to mitigate those challenges.
Yes. Thank you, Sadi. And we need more women in the leadership roles for sure.
Absolutely.
Coming to you, Datin, very quickly, what have you been your learnings from the Code Without Barriers journey with Petronas?
Okay, first and foremost, Petronas is not short of capability development program. But when Microsoft came to me and asked and talked to me about Code Without Barriers, I jumped into the bandwagon. It is a no regret move. So we started this journey actually in 2022. The initial program, we had 400 participants, and 10% of them completed and attained certifications. 2023, the number doubles. And what's more important I'm seeing is that a lot of women is stepping up in terms of knowing more about what AI can do for their work, and they are driving the certification. It's not because we make it mandatory, but because it is out of their passion. And I think that's really a true, I would say, spirit. If you want to build an AI culture in any organization, it must also come from the need to be able to bring that into a personal life and a personal motto. And I'm happy to note for CWB, it has now outreached more than 10 countries. I'm not so sure. How many countries is that, Annie?
Yes, about 9 countries.
9 countries. I hope that we can build a CWB community within the 9 countries.
Yes.
Imagine the transcendence of ideas that cut across the Asian region, and how we can see perspective and solutions that are being developed in other parts of the countries that we can deploy in Malaysia, for instance, and vice versa. So I'm just hoping CWB is going beyond just capability building platform, but more about connected women in the region.
Absolutely. And leaders like you are the heartbeat behind Code Without Barriers. We just launched Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and India in this quarter. So very excited. We have 1 minute, and this is for the audience. Maybe one line of advice or whatever you want to give to them as a call to action. Sadi, first to the men in the audience, our male allies. Because women are only half the story, men are the other half in this journey of inclusion.
Thank you, Harry. Very quickly, I think as we know, AI is all about iteration and having more and more diverse aspect. No AI system can function in the first attempt. So by design, AI is making us humble and sort of exemplifies that we need to be open to different opinions, diversity and all those. So my message would be that we need to practice diversity in our daily work while we take that AI mission forward.
Thank you, Sadi. Tatin?
Okay, the message is going beyond the developer. Many of you are. But I just want to reiterate one thing. I think one of the things as an AI practitioner, I would like to see that the fact that you could be doing HRM or finance or procurement is your core job, but how do you internalize AI as a skill? And I think let's do the extraordinary, join the the Code Without Barriers program, and I hope that you can transcend this across all the ladies and women that you know in Malaysia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This has been such an honor listening to you. Hope you had a wonderful time as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our esteemed panelists, Datin Hapsa Nordin, Encik Ahmad Sadi, as well as our moderator, Ms. Annie Matthews, for that insightful session. It's surely very encouraging to witness how Petronas and Axiata, two leading homegrown Malaysian organizations, have pivoted their efforts to empower talents within their organization with AI tools and technologies to make a difference in diversity and for every layer of the society. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that session would have given you a little glimpse of what an amazing agenda that we have for you today. We have lined up the latest and the greatest, as well as a good lineup of speakers and industry leaders and technology experts to give you the best in terms of insights, trends, best practices, and innovation for you to realize the power of Microsoft AI. Ladies and gentlemen, while you are being entertained with exciting and very, very inspiring keynote inside this ballroom, we also have set up for you a few connection hubs for you to take your skills and your intelligence to the next level. So the first thing that we have for you is the Microsoft Learn booth, also known as the AI Odyssey. So if you're keen to level up your technical skills or learn a new skill set leveraging on Microsoft solutions, this is for you. All you have to do is participate in the Asia AI Odyssey campaign, an exciting skilling initiative spanning during the duration from now till June 25th. Participants are required to complete 4 AI applied skills, learning pathways, and successfully earn their applied skills credentials to stand a chance to win attractive prizes. Visit them at the Microsoft Learn booth to learn more about the campaign. The second connection hub that we have is the GitHub booth. If you are interested in meeting the experts from the world's leading AI-powered developer platform community, then this one's for you. Visit the GitHub booth at the AI Build Connection Hub, and you can learn more about the upcoming GitHub events in ASEAN and get exciting GitHub merchandise as well. And the third thing is we have the MVP booth, which is also known as the Microsoft Most Valuable Professionals booth. So basically, what you need to do is just visit them at the Connection Hub, and you will find out more information. The Microsoft Most Valuable Professionals booth is basically an outstanding community leaders who have technical expertise, leadership, and speaking experience, who are also online influencers who are dedicated their efforts and time in solving real-world problems. So I strongly encourage and recommend for you to visit any of these booths, or to be honest, all 3 booths, and meet these amazing people and talents that we have this booth to get you geared up on your AI adventure.
How do we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more?
It starts with one.
From one employee to a team, collaborating with another team.
From one partner to their customers, to their customers' customers.
Expanding opportunity.
Earning trust. Protecting fundamental rights.
And advancing sustainability.
For our society.
Our economy. Our world.
That's the impact. That's the impact.
That's the impact each of us can have.
That's our collective opportunity. Empowering 8 billion people.
We are in a new era of AI,
where we will be able to build as fast as our imagination,
unlock our creativity,
and innovate responsibly.
As we take on society's biggest challenges.
Together, we can ensure these benefits reach
every country, every industry,
and every individual.
When we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more,
we empower the world.
Thank you. All right.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to our developer conference, and it's fantastic to be back here in KL and spending time learning about everything that's going on around technology and the broader economy in the country. And you know, I've been at Microsoft now for 32 years, lived through the client-server transition, and then the web and the internet, and subsequently the mobile cloud, and now here we are in the age of AI. I sort of describe this as the year 2 of the age of AI, and so I wanted to spend some time talking a little bit about the possibilities for everyone in the room in this age. Clearly, the scaling laws behind some of these next generation models continue to really surprise us and work in exponential ways. And you now have these capabilities, right? Whether it's take the natural language interface, right? Now the original dream of the sort of the founders of computing, like Engelbart, was always, can we have computers that understand us versus us understanding computers? We are finally at that point where you now have the most natural user interface, which can be speech and text and vision, both input and output, and it's just only getting more and more powerful. We also have more reasoning and planning capability, right? We have been digitizing information all through, but now you have a new reasoning engine and a planning engine to apply on top of all of that digitized information. And of course, you can add more context, more memory, both long-term and short-term memory to these interactions. So it's a pretty phenomenal pace with which the capabilities of these AI models, as well as the layers around the AI model, are all evolving. But ultimately, though, it's not about just the technology. To me, any technology is only useful if it can drive, ultimately, economic output and productivity in any country, right? So for me, what does this mean? It means ultimately in the region, what's the incremental GDP growth? Something like $155 billion, more than 14% incremental GDP growth is projected through AI across all sectors, right? It can be in healthcare, it can be in education, it can be in retail, it can be in energy. So that's the real opportunity of AI, and it's fantastic to see that opportunity, and to seize that opportunity, we ground ourselves in our mission to empower every person and every organization in Malaysia to be able to achieve more. That's ultimately how we want to realize our mission here. And to that end, we are building out a complete cloud infrastructure and a cloud stack, starting with infrastructure to data, to the tools, to the application layers, so that you can now have the power of all of this technology so that you can build more technology. Because we as a platform company are very, very focused on building world-class platforms to empower every developer, every company here to be able to build more. And of course, all of us collectively also want to drive business outcomes, right? Every organization wants to improve how they interact with customers, how they interact with their own employees, how they bring about efficiency in every business process internally, as well as bend the curve on innovation in any organization, right? Those are ultimately the business outcomes that we focus on. And to be able to sort of drive that is really our collective opportunity. Now, to go about it, I would say there are 3 things that any organization, whether it's in public sector or in private sector, whether you're a small startup or a large company, that I think one should take advantage of. The first imperative for me is adopt the best, latest tools inside the enterprise, inside the organization. In other words, don't reinvent the wheel. And that was the inspiration behind Copilot. We wanted to build out Copilot so that you have the ability to tap into the world's knowledge, as well as knowledge inside your organizations, and then to be able to really act on that knowledge. That was the vision behind Copilot. We best captured it, I would say, in an ad that we played at the Super Bowl a few months ago. So I just wanted to roll that video to give you a flavor for it. I truly love the spirit it captures, right? It's not about the technology, it's about watching me do things, right? It's the ability to create, whether it's a document, an image, or code. It's about being able to decide, make better judgment decisions, and then ultimately to act on all of it, right? So to me, that's the real power of AI in the hands of every person and every organization. And we're already seeing unbelievable data around productivity, right? So when we deploy Microsoft 365 Copilot, we're seeing organizations able to move things faster. In fact, just like how in supply chains people talk about inventory turns, we talk about knowledge turns. That means knowledge is getting created faster and diffused faster throughout the organization. Supply chains are more efficient. Financial operations are more efficient. Your customer operations are more efficient. So we are really seeing, of course, in software development, we're seeing that with GitHub Copilot, which is tremendous to see. Even with things like Copilot Studio, it's even for the low-code, no-code folks that really are driving productivity. So the Copilot age is clearly here, I would say, really getting these deployed. In fact, right here in Malaysia, we have many examples of customers, like Petronas is deploying it across the board, PNB, Ambank, as well as the public sector is deploying it inside. Prima has deployed it to just make themselves more efficient and the workflows more efficient inside the organization. So it's good to see how quickly this technology is not just being developed, but it's being diffused and used throughout the organization. Now, talking about software developers, GitHub, of course, is the place where developers call home. And it's great to see that we have more than 600,000 developers right here in Malaysia. It's growing 28% year over year, so there's tremendous amount of growth in the GitHub community. And one of the fascinating things has been Copilot for GitHub, right? We conceived, in fact, that's probably the first hit product of this generative AI age. And when we conceived it a few years ago, when we said there can be an AI pair programmer for every software developer, a little bit we know that it will become the thing that every software developer now loves to use to be able to sort of really bring back the joy in programming, bring back the flow in programming, because in some sense we had taken some of that out because of so much of the stuff that was happening out of band from, say, even being immersed in your IDE and staying in the flow. And the AI pair programmer has brought that back. And now, just a couple of days ago, we launched the next phase of it, which I think is going to be really revolutionary, which is GitHub Copilot Workspaces is in technical preview, which completely now takes what is just a Copilot, which is an AI pair programmer, to the next level where you now start with an issue that comes in, a plan gets generated, that plan that you can then as a developer edit, and then that plan gets executed across the entire repo. That means you can edit multiple files, accept the changes, and then you put a pull request. So think about what an entire workflow of a software engineering team looks like with GitHub Copilot Workspaces. So to show you that, I wanted to invite up on stage my colleague Karan to show you GitHub Copilot Workspaces and GitHub Copilot itself. Karan, welcome.
Thanks,
Let me shake your hand.
Thank you. All right. Today I'll show you what GitHub Copilot can do for you and how it can help you be more productive. And I'll also give you a preview of GitHub Copilot Workspace that we announced this week. All right. So now I want to add some sign-up functionality to this website I'm building in TypeScript with GitHub Copilot. So first, let's add a sign-up button. So I'll write a comment for it, and GitHub Copilot writes the code for me, working with me along the way. Nice. I'll accept that. Now, next I want to make sure my users are entering valid email addresses, and I need some help with that. I have a regular expression here, but it's hard to read. With GitHub Copilot, it truly feels like I'm working with a pair programmer. In this case, I can ask it to help explain code that I'm unfamiliar with, even if it's a regular expression. I can even do this in Malay by asking it, what does this regex do? Fantastic. You can see that GitHub Copilot is picking up its cues on what language to answer in based on how I ask the question. Now, GitHub Copilot chat can also be invoked inline, so it can work with the code in place. To get to it, just hit Control or Command I. Now, I'm going to ask Copilot to help me write the entire sign-up page, asking for email, password, and password confirmation. And again, I'm going to do this in Malay. Amazing. You can see that Copilot didn't just understand what I wanted, but it's actually written the entire code for me. There it is. That looks good, so I'll accept that change. But like me, GitHub Copilot doesn't just live in the editor, it's also with me on github.com. So GitHub Copilot can now provide a description of changes in a pull request. It doesn't just list the changes, it also gives you useful, meaningful description of what the change does. And it even gives you deep links to specific lines of code that I've changed. And there it is. That's it. I've shown you how your multilingual pair programmer can help you be more productive. But there's more. Today, I'm excited to show you the technical preview of GitHub Copilot Workspace, a Copilot native development environment that helps you jumpstart every task while working in natural language. Let's see it live in our demo. Now, so far we've written a sign-up page, but we also need a login page, right? So we can start off right from an issue where our requirements are described and begin development with Copilot Workspace. Copilot Workspace derives context from your issue and your code base to create a detailed specification with proposed changes. It generates a plan on how the specification can be implemented by referencing relevant files in the code base. Copilot also helps you implement this plan by making changes to relevant files in the code base. Now, you can also make edits to the specification, the plan, or the implementation to suit your needs. So I'm going to make one small edit right here within my browser to suit my application. I'm going to just add this. Now, Copilot Workspace also comes with a complete development environment running in Azure, complete even with a terminal right here in your browser. You can also see a live preview of your app running in this development environment, so you can quickly iterate and see what code you're building, edit, and make it suit your needs. So here is the live preview that is running right here. And let's take a look at the page that Copilot has written for me, which is the login page. And there it is. In very, very less time, we were able to go from idea to code to software, all while working in natural language with the help of GitHub Copilot Workspace. Thank you. Back to you, Satya.
Thank you so much, Karan. Every time, he hits Sash explain on regular expressions, programming looks easier again. It's just wonderful to see. And I think that this GitHub Copilot Workspaces, as I said, is probably going to be one of the most transformative things, because in one of the benefits of a software development environment is you even have these reasoning traces, because you have a compiler, you have an interpreter, and the ability to then be able to use AI to guide even the entire process with the human in the loop, I think is a very powerful prototype of what I think you can expect in many, many other domains. So we are very excited about this. Now, the next imperative I want to talk about is all around the all-up cloud infrastructure that you can use to build your AI, right? So we talked about how we're building all these copilots, and one of the things we've done is we've taken all of the underlying services and the primitives and made it available as first-class part of Azure as Copilot Stack, starting at the very bottom with infrastructure. In Azure, we have more regions than any other cloud provider today, with 60-plus regions, 300,000-plus data centers. The Malaysian region is coming live later this year. And on top of that, we are expanding. I'm really pleased to announce today that we are expanding our investment in Malaysia with $2.2 billion. So we really want to make sure that we have world-class infrastructure right here in the country, so that every organization, every software developer, every startup can use it to really not only build for this country, but for the world and the region. And so we are very excited about that. So that means world-class AI infrastructure, right? Whether it's powered by accelerators from NVIDIA, AMD, or our Microsoft's own accelerators, Maya. They're all going to be available in our cloud infrastructure for both training as well as for inference. So we will always have some of the best performing infrastructure. We will also have the widest selection of models, right? We will have the frontier models like Azure OpenAI. We will also have all the open source models. We will have great support. In fact, one of the other things that I'm very excited about is not just the LLMs, but the SLMs, the small language models. Microsoft's leading the way. In fact, just last week, we launched Phi, which is, it's unbelievable. If you think about it by parameter count for performance ratio, it's best in class, right? A 3 billion parameter is performing better than 7, 8 billion parameter models out there. And I think, the basic insight there is that you can really use synthetic data to be able to train these models, to be able to perform. So I think the combination of frontier models, open source models, these SLM models, really put the power back in the hands of developers to be able to optimize for all of the various design considerations, right? For really performance, for latency, for COGS. These are all the things that we all as developers will care about. And now you have an unbelievable selection of models to be able to exercise those design decisions. We're not just building models on tokens around human language. We're also building models with the language of science, right? So one of the most exciting things that I think will, in the years to come, we'll find is that we will have real breakthroughs in the scientific process itself that will really accelerate our ability to create new materials, new compounds and molecules, right? So one of the things that we recently did was use a material science model to generate a new compound, which we then fabricated, where we were able to reduce the lithium content by 70% for a new battery, right? So think about the energy transition priority that we all have, and to be able to use AI to really help us accelerate the energy transition. I always say, can we compress 250 years of progress in chemistry into the next 25 years? And it seems that it's possible. On the other extreme, even in biology, we are working, for example, with Giddy, which is really helping, with TB drug discovery. Unfortunately, TB still exists. It's still a fatal disease, and it mutates. And so that's why we need to discover new drugs. And in order to speed up that discovery, we are working with Giddy and some of the models around drug discovery. So this is an exciting space for us. Of course, once you have the model, you have the infrastructure, you have the models, the next big consideration is the data estate. Ultimately, in order to train, in order to fine-tune, in order to ground your models, you need your data. And so for that, we are building out the full data estate from the operational stores to the analytics in Azure. Fabric, for example, I think is a real breakthrough when it comes to a very unified approach to the analytics stack. And it also comes with all the other databases, whether it's Oracle, Snowflake, Databricks. We bring all of that so that you have the best data estate that is AI native. And so we are really working very, very hard on the data side. And of course, we wrap it all into a fantastic integrated developer chain, right? So to me, it always gives me great pride. Microsoft was founded in 1975 as a developer company. We built the basic interpreter for the Altair. That was our first product. And here we are, nearly 50 years after, still celebrating developer tools like GitHub Copilot and GitHub Copilot workspaces. So to us, really focusing on the tool chain for software developers, the professional software developers, as well as the low-code, no-code tools, and bringing all of that together into one, robust tool chain for any organization is a huge priority. And one of the other things, of course, is we're very invested in developer skilling. We have the AI Odyssey program. It's great to see even lots of developers going through the program, even in Malaysia. I think we have 2,000 plus who have gone through the Odyssey program. I think some of them are here in the audience, so let's give them a round of applause. And we have many, many customers. I had a chance to just meet lots of developers who are building AI solutions right here using some of these technologies I just talked about. An agri-tech company that is using everything from IoT to AI and even humanoid robots to completely revolutionize agriculture. Healthcare, that's another place where they're building. Think about healthcare as the one place where you can really transform how you give medical advice, how you change the physician productivity and focus on the patient. Another area is education. And of course, even large enterprises like Prudential are able to completely transform everything when it comes to their customer experience, when it comes to their agent experience, and deploying some of these AI tools broadly within their enterprise. So it's fantastic to see, again, how fast this technology is becoming real in the hands of software developers here, and then, of course, real in the broader society, right? Coming to Malaysia and to know that there are AI tutors available in education, there are AI doctors available for medical advice, or there is agri-tech being revolutionized by AI. That's unbelievable in terms of the speed of diffusion of tech. Now, the last imperative I want to talk about, though, is as we talk about all this technology, there is one more important consideration for us. One, that is security and safety and trust. Because ultimately, all technology adoption is governed by our ability to trust that technology. So to that end, we are really making sure that we double down on our Secure Future initiative. This is something we started in November of last year. It is all about shifting left, right, which is about security by design, security by default, and security operations. These are the three major design principles for us, and we are really driving that across 6 pillars, and we intend to make rapid progress on really ensuring the best security for all of the cyber estates that we protect, and sharing all of this as a robust set of end-to-end products that you can use to implement zero trust environments, right, inside of your organization. Everything from endpoint protection to identity to app and infra protection, as well as compliance. So bringing all of that into one product family that you can then safely deploy. Of course, when it comes to AI safety, even here we start with some promises we make to every organization. One is that your data is your data. We don't train on your data. We want to ensure that anything that you have trained and built as models are protected using, again, that world-class security. And lastly, protecting copyright as well as indemnifying you as you use our products and tools on any copyright litigation. So those are the things that we want to make sure are delivered as promises to you. And we have also taken a very principled approach to safe deployment of AI. In fact, back in 2016 is when we came up with AI principles, and we have now translated these principles into engineering practices that we have also then developed them as services in Azure AI. So when you use Azure AI, you have all the safety services right there that you can use when you're building a healthcare app, an insurance app, or any application. You can use the same set of services we use in order to do safety around our applications like Copilot, and use that in practice as you deploy them. So we're very, very focused on responsible AI software development. Now, I want to close out where I started, which is our mission ultimately is about empowering every person and every organization in Malaysia to be able to achieve more. At the end of the day, for us, it's about being able to really ensure that the human capital is getting all the skills, right? Whether it's in primary school or in graduate school, whether it is in computer science education or in liberal arts education. How do we ensure that the right skills are there for the economy that is getting created, the jobs that are getting created, so that we can all, in the age of AI, exercise our opportunity and exercise our economic well-being. And so to me, that is, I think, the most paramount importance. And so to that end, we're very excited about another announcement we made this week, around 2.5 million people in ASEAN getting skilled in AI. We will have more than 200,000 people in Malaysia getting skilled in AI. So it's exciting to see that. And I wanted to leave you with one story of, I had a chance to meet with two women who are taking advantage of this program. And in fact, one of them was a kindergarten teacher who now has gotten the certification around AI and now is becoming a trainer on AI in her community, and especially with women in her community and bringing them into this new opportunity set. So we are really excited about it. Let me leave you with that video. Thank you so much and have the rest of the year. Thank you.
In Malaysia specifically, the challenge we are seeing is we've got people who are working super hard to make ends meet, however still not being able to afford a decent and dignified quality of life.
Shifting jobs from one job to another job, it's been upside down in my life.
In the Skills for Jobs program, we give people access to productivity tools so that they can make their time that much more valuable.
The most important skills that I learned in Microsoft Skills for Job program were in AI. I can learn from AI for my career advancement. Now, I'm working in the construction company as an administrator. They give me more salary than I expected. And on top of that, I've been chosen as a trainer for Microsoft. My interest is giving knowledge to other people.
AI is reducing the barriers for people to get new skills and navigate complex new jobs. This gives me a lot of hope, knowing that AI can really give everyone the tools and tech to be their best version of themselves.
I'm better than myself yesterday or last week or last year. I'm more confident.
Wow, wasn't that super amazing? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Satya Nadella, CEO and Chairman of Microsoft, as well as Karan, who showed us an amazing demo. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dashka Nyaneswaran. I am the Customer Success Account Manager for Microsoft in Malaysia, but more importantly for today, I will be your MC and co-pilot, navigating you through the day's agenda and also giving you a pivot of the realm of AI. So as I mentioned, we have an amazing lineup in the room and outside the room in the connection hubs for you. So next up, what we have for you is an amazing session by one of our Microsoft technology experts, as well as a customer. So without further ado, let me welcome on stage Rita Abdul-Latifi, our Senior Cloud Solution Architect from Microsoft, as well as our customer from Petronas, and Sheikh Shaharuddin Hamid Mustafa, Senior General Manager, Technology Digital Solutions, Petronas, up on stage for the next session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this introduction, and I'm so amazed to be here right after Satya, right? So it's not going to be as engaging, I guess, but we'll try to do our best. So in this session, what I want actually to do with you is to give you some updates in terms of what is happening in the generative AI space with Microsoft. And the way I want to do it is by giving you some of the latest updates in terms of what we are doing, where we are focusing our energy in terms of bringing the best of breed in terms of our technology. So one of the aspects that I wanted to highlight is the ubiquity. So you have heard earlier Satya talking about empowering everyone across the planet. What we want is really to make sure that this AI experience is going to be across every single application, starting with, the application that exists with Microsoft, with our co-pilots. But we'll talk also about how you can also build your own co-pilot and even go further and be able to build up your own AI applications. Second thing that I want to actually also talk about is the multimodality. So this is going to be towards using not only